Judges who freaked out in court. This judge was sentenced to prison time. She'd been found guilty of misusing her position as a judge. This was to help her brother out in his own court case. When this judge was found guilty by another judge, she freaked out. She tried to lie on the floor and had to be dragged away to jail by cops. This judge got super angry with the convict. The convict, Camilla Gamut, had taken her boyfriend's life. She kept being rude and disrespectful the entire court case. And that's when the judge said, "I hope you die in prison."
I agree with the family. I hope you die in prison as well. You know, if this was a death penalty state, you'd be getting the chair.
This judge put tape on a convict's mouth. Franklin Williams was in court, but he wouldn't stop talking. So that's why this judge ordered cops to put tape over his mouth. Even when this guy had tape on his mouth, he kept talking anyway. Eventually, the judge did apologize for doing this and recused himself from the case. As for the chatty convict, he went to jail. This 100-year-old man is hiding his face in court. This 100-year-old German man, identified only as Joseph, appeared in court. He was so ashamed for his crime, he hid his face behind a blue folder. But what did he do? Well, his crime was actually from World War II. He was a guard at one of Germany's infamous prison camps, working there between 1942 and 1945. It's said he oversaw the killings of more than 3,500 people. He was able to get away for over 82 years until he was finally caught. He was only given a 5-year sentence, but as he's already 100 years old, this means he likely won't make it out alive. Some people said this man's too old to go to prison, but considering what he did, do you agree or not? Guilty convicts reacting to life sentences. This is Seth and Tatiana Welch. They had a 10-month-old baby named Mary who they did not feed. Mary was starving and also ill, but this couple said they didn't believe in medicine. Their child passed away thanks to their negligence, but they thought because it was an accident, they would get away with it. However, when they were sentenced to life without parole, they were shocked. I can't believe they're acting like victims after what they did. This is Michelle Blair. She was in court because she took 2 of her kids' lives. But when she was found guilty and was being led away, she freaked out and shockingly admitted to the crime.
Everybody want to know, yes, I did kill her!
This is Eric Penland. He harmed his son so badly the kid got permanent brain damage. But when he was given a guilty sentence, he freaked out. If that's how he acts in public, just imagine how he gets behind closed doors. This man won $338 million overnight and ended up in jail. This is Pedro Quezada from New Jersey, USA. In 2013, he won a massive $338 million in the lottery. But soon after this, he was taken into custody. He allegedly harmed a girl. He was charged with 3 offenses. But according to his lawyer, this only happened because he was a millionaire. His lawyer said he has money and that's why he's being targeted. Some said maybe the money made this guy think he could do whatever he wants. But seeing as he's now been arrested, that's clearly not the case. Others say this guy's innocent, but that's for the courts to decide. Kids who were sentenced to life in prison. This is Zachary Neagle. At just 14, he was given a life sentence. That's because he ended his own father's life with a rifle. He did this because his father had been abusing him for many years. This is Christian Fernandez. When he was only 12, he was arrested for taking his brother's life. He did this by pushing his brother against a bookshelf. He was found guilty of first-degree manslaughter and was taken to prison. This is Conrad Schaefer from Florida. When he was only 15 years old, he went on a shooting spree. This ended 2 people's lives. In 2016, he was sentenced to life in prison. Criminals who escaped from court. In a Russian court, this man tried to escape using the ceiling. This is 18-year-old Leonid Gracer. He took the life of his own sister, but thankfully his courtroom escape was foiled by police. In 2018, this man ran out of court. No one expected him to get away because there's a button that has to be pressed to open the doors. But he made a secret plan with a friend to open the door. You can see how his friend pushes the door button. This allowed the man to escape from court, but he was later arrested yet again. Look at these women leaving court. They were supposed to go on a prison bus back to jail, but these 2 women snuck underneath the bus. They then tried to run away, but unluckily they were caught by police who realized what they were doing. In Washington, these 2 suspects ran out of court. That's when the judge takes off his robe and chases these two men. Amazingly, the judge actually caught these two runaways. The craziest way police caught a serial killer. In 2017, these two men were found dead in the exact same spot. This happened on 2 different days on separate occasions. The police had no idea who did this, so they placed a mannequin that looked like a real person in the same spot. They then waited to see if the serial killer would show up once again. They knew they were dealing with a serial killer, so they just waited. And here's what happened. As you can see, the man shows up with a hammer to try and kill again. The man soon realized it wasn't a person he was hitting with a hammer, but instead a mannequin. He tried to run away, but at that point it was too late. Police swooped in and arrested 30-year-old Shane Schindler. Thanks to this crazy idea, this dangerous man is now off the streets. This influencer was arrested for this video. This influencer named Teezy made a video with a great white shark. She filmed herself with a great white shark and then cooked and ate it. There are many cooking videos online, so why did this influencer get arrested? Well, it's because great white sharks are a very vulnerable protected species. Teezy knew that eating this endangered animal would get a lot of attention and views. She has over 8 million followers and made lots of money from her videos. The influencer may now face prison time for this video. Do you think she was in the wrong here? And if so, is arresting her too far or not? This man was sentenced to 35 years in prison and laughed in the FBI's face. In 2009, Abduwali Muse, a Somali pirate, hijacked a ship. He hijacked the ship off the coast of Somalia. The ship was able to overpower Abduwali, but the 3 other pirates held the ship's crew hostage. Amazingly, all of the ship's crew and its captain survived, but the pirates kept the ship's captain. Eventually, the US Navy SEALs were called in. 3 snipers had to simultaneously snipe all of the pirates, but Abduwali made it out alive and was arrested by the US Navy. He was taken by the US Navy back to the USA, but as he was leaving court, a shocking sight was seen. Abduwali laughed in the FBI's face. Longest prison sentences ever. This is Pudit Kitharadilok from Thailand. In 2017, he was sentenced to 13,275 years. This was for a fraud where he stole $160 million. This is Alan Wayne McLaurin from the United States. He was sentenced to 20,750 years. This was for taking the life of an elderly woman. This is Othman El Ganawi from Spain. He was sentenced to 42,924 years. This was for the 2004 Madrid train bombings. This is Chamoy Payazo from Thailand. She was sentenced to 141,078 years. This was for a $204 million fraud.